Ojai travel trip and a vinyl book and comic book haul. Hi, welcome to Garage Geek. Today I got up bright and early and I drove about an hour and a half to Ojai, which is from where I live in Los Angeles. It's kind of north and east. I've always wanted to go to a particular bookstore that's in Ojai. It's touted as the largest outdoor bookstore in the world. I'm going to make you suffer through my travel pictures, and then I will also show you my 3 hauls. When I first got to Ojai, it was before the bookstore opened, so I stopped at Libby Park because there is a sculpture there, and the sculpture supposedly is musical. So when you walk through it, a musical tone will go off, and it's supposed to be different for every person based on, you know, your size and height and weight or whatever, based on the sound waves that bounce off. But when I walked through it, it wasn't working. And so a little bit further on, they have an amphitheater there. It's small, but actually a friend of mine saw Air Supply there and she was very happy. So I was meeting her later and she showed us where she actually sat in the front row. It would be cool to see a concert there. I was sitting down having some coffee in that amphitheater when I heard the chimes going off. So I ran back up. I actually walked through it. I did a short video, which I posted on YouTube as a short, but I will add it in here. And then after that, I met my friends at the bookstore, which is called Bart's Books. I was sad because when I got there, it was closed because of a power outage. And I was like, oh man, I drove an hour and a half just to see this bookstore, and then they randomly closed. But what was neat was they had a bunch of sections outside of the bookstore, and it was, you take a book and you just put money in the book slot, which was so cool. Most of them were hardbacks. They weren't very nice, but they did have a lot of softbacks that were very good. There was a whole bunch of Booker Prize winners that I already have, but I went ahead and grabbed these for $1 each. So I'm just going to go through them. I got this just for the cover. I have read this book, but wow, isn't that a cool cover? The Underdogs. I got this Penguin book, Marianne Moore. And it's strange, this is a book of poetry, and I've never even heard of her, so this is like education for me. Marianne Moore, Complete Poems. Maybe I'll know some of the poems when I read it. 2 more books. I got this beautiful Penguin Classics paperback of Mark Twain, Roughing It. Again, $1 each book. Owen Wister's The Virginian. This one has a little crease here, but this is also a book that I read in my library book club of all places quite a few years back. It was a very interesting book. So there you have it, my little haul from the bookstore that was closed. So then what we did was we went back to the park. I walked around with my friends in the park. Then we went to eat. Ojai is a really nice town. It's kind of up in the mountains away from the coast a little bit and touristy. So there's a lot of like, murals and statues. So then when I left, I went back down toward the coast and I stopped in Ventura at Giacomo Records. Now, I spent way more than I should have. I actually spent like $65. I'm going to show off the records that I bought. So normally I probably wouldn't pay as much as I did for these albums, but since I was traveling and it was a special day, I splurged. So I got this one, Love Songs by Russ Colombo, and that one was $3. I got Doris Day's Latin for Lovers. Now, the reason I picked this one, that was $4. Now, the reason I picked this one up is because I listened to this album for over a week because it was recommended by Depressing Matters. Then when I saw it, it was like kismet, so I grabbed it. Here is another album that I can have in my series. I can get rid of this, right, for the art. I'll insert a picture. I just redid my cabinet and I used all these. Now, this one is Harp by Nicanor Zabaleta. Don't know anything about this one, so I'm kind of interested in that. But look at that gorgeous art. Okay, I'm going to admit that I got this one just because of the comedy factor, but that's a pretty awesome cover. And that is Carol Channing Entertains. And that one was $4. This one is a gatefold. And it has actual a booklet. Pretty cool. This one was $5, and I might actually have this one, but I think I either have this one or another one. So this definitely has to go because it's way better without, it was all dusty and dirty. But this one was $5, but I just couldn't pass it up. This one was also $5, and I think that one was way overpriced. I probably could have found this for $1 somewhere. But this is Ray Anthony Plays for Dream Dancing. The next three I paid a lot for. They're going to look better out of the sheet, right? So this one is Afterglow, Love Songs by June Hutton and the Boys Next Door, with music by Axel Stordahl. But I kind of really like that. I need to replace this. This looks murky. This one is not in the best shape. It was $10 though. Midnight on the Cliffs. I wanted that. I was just like, no, I can't pass it up. It's gorgeous. And even though it's got a little bit of wear, I think maybe I can get that off with a cleaner. And I think this one was brand new. This one was $12. It's Time for Tina. And this is the songs of Tina Louise. So that one I think is new. Sometimes they wrap them again, so I don't know. But this one might be new. And the rest were a couple of dollar albums. The Four Freshmen, Love Lost. Look at that gorgeous cover. Wow. The Sweetest Sounds, Wayne King and his orchestra. Herbert von Karajan. So normally I don't buy the portrait ones, but this one was only $1 for this beautiful classical music album, so I decided to get it. And this one is Dances by Brahms and Dvorak. And then finally, Mantovani and his orchestra, Strauss Waltzes. Now, yeah, this is gonna look better after I take this off. But yeah, for $1, I thought, wow, what a beautiful cover. At this point, it was getting to be a little bit later, and the traffic was starting to pick up. But what I did was I booked from Ventura over to Camarillo, where I went to Sterling Silver Comics. And this is what I got. It was going to close in an hour, so I didn't have much time. He had a box of free comic book store days comics, so I grabbed this one. I was interested in it. I got these two for my husband. I ordered him number 2 or number 3 in this series, and yeah, this one's got a little bit of a crease, but this is the first issue of Maleficent and Scar. So those two are for my husband. Now, I decided to splurge a little bit. I spent like $45 on comics. This one is number 2 of Ripley's Believe It or Not, and at the very beginning it was called True Ghost Stories, and they have Ripley's Believe It or Not over here, and this is, I believe, and this one cost $7.50. But as you saw from my recent video, I'm collecting these. I got this Man Called Nova, the one with Spider-Man in it. Now this one has just a little bit of a problem here, but you can't really see. And so that one was $6. Again, I may have overpaid for these. Now this one was $6, and this is a painted cover of a 10-cent Flash Gordon comic, Test Flight in Space. Pretty cool. I got a Daredevil 89 for $5 with Electro. Not the best cover in the world, but hey, it's an early Daredevil. This one was $4. The Frogmen. I'd never heard of this comic before, but what a cool cover. And that one was a 12-center. This one was $2.50, a White Fang. Now this one has definite issues, but it's not too bad. Like, you could see a bent corner. But look at that cover. At some point, I'm going to be collecting these with a passion. Not yet. I'm only casually collecting them so far. Here's another Ripley's Believe It or Not. This one cost $2.25. It's a 15-center, and supposedly there's a water stain. There's definitely some spine ticks. But this one is Crystal Skull of Doom, Death Comes Riding, Ghost Warriors, Phantom Hands of Vengeance. You got 4 in that one. Here's another Ripley's Believe It or Not. It's a 20-center. Now this one was $1.50, and it really has problems. But I didn't want to pass it up for $1.50. He called forth a ghost with a $40,000 secret. But would it talk? There you go. It looks like some kind of mob thing going on. And this one, the final one that I bought, was this Woody Woodpecker, a 10-cent comic for $1.25. And I mean, look at that. Now, one issue is that there is tape. You can hardly see it. I could hardly see it, right? There's tape here and here where the staples are. But for me, a 10-cent comic for $1.25, that's pretty cool. So then I was driving home. I needed to stop for gas, and I kind of wanted to stop at two places in the Santa Monica Mountains National Reservation, but I wasn't going to be able to do one of them. One is the place where they film MASH, but that one was a hike. And so since it was getting a little bit late and I was running out of time, I only stopped at Paramount Ranch, which is a national site in the Santa Monica Mountains National Historical. It's not really a park, but it's a recreation area is what they call it. The bad thing about it is there was a fire that went through there, a Woolsey fire, and this was set up for Paramount Studios where they filmed Westerns. And it was kind of like a backlot, but with like a Western background setting. And so I'm going to be putting pictures, but everything burnt down except there's one building left, and there's a church. And this church was used in Westworld. That is my Ojai trip with books, records, and comic books. Oh, I forgot to say that before we left Ojai, we went back to the bookstore. And it was actually opened. And again, I made another video while I was inside it. But basically, it's a huge outdoor bookstore that's on the grounds of a home. They took the home and they converted it into the bookstore as well. So when you go into the kitchen of the home, and you could look out the window of the kitchen into the backyard of the bookstore, it's really very neat. So I also have a short video of that. What did you think of my Ojai trip? What did you think of any of my hauls, my books, dollar books, comics that I splurged on, and records that I splurged on? Again, I want to thank all of you for the support.